Start your day.
Back and said, relax, this guy is just passionate.
How far now?
How far? Yeah. And then on Friday,
Right.
Pontius Pilate washes his hands.
Uh-huh.
Pontius Pilate washes his hands.
Yes.
And on the same day, Jesus is crucified, put on the cross. And while on the cross,
Right.
there is a thief, a criminal, also hung. Two, actually, one to his left and one to his right. And the one to his left said, look at you, even on the cross. And he was still abusing him. And he said, I forgive you. And the other one asked him, how can you? He said, don't worry, today, you'll be with me in paradise.
Hey.
Those are the things that are happening kaende this week.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So
those are the
we're in
things
that spirit of Easter.
Yes.
Of forgiveness and betrayal.
Betrayal and forgiveness.
Betrayal and forgiveness. Right.
And then new things.
Uh-huh.
Yes, new things.
What
New
became
thing.
of Judas?
He hung himself. Judas committed suicide.
Yeah, the
hung
burden
himself
was
on a
too
tree.
hard
He
to
said
bear.
this one was too
Yes.
much. For this money
Yes.
that I'm taking, and I am betraying myself and my people and this man who I've walked the earth with for 3 years,
Yes.
I can't take it. Do you reckon that there are people today who may have taken a few pieces of silver and betrayed their people,
Indeed.
might hang themselves?
Atuakate miti. And what became of the governor?
Pontius Pilate? I think if I'm not wrong, according to history, he died a natural death. Did he not? Yeah, at some point. Yeah. But
Interesting story there.
very, very interesting story.
I always have I see different interpretations
Uh-huh.
that generate from that, because even was it Barnabas or Barabbas?
The other thief,
The
The
one
other-
who was released when Jesus was detained.
Barabbas.
Barabbas. Yeah, there's also an interesting story about him. On how when Jesus turned water into wine, Barabbas was in that ceremony.
Yes.
And that is where he stole, I think, his last loot before he was declared a wanted man.
Yeah.
Then he was arrested. But did you know these both men, they were under the captive of the Roman Empire.
Yes, they were.
Jesus was born in slavery. But let me not preach that
We
today.
can't start. Ooh. History is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And the stories that make up history and how you can apply them to current day are
Yes.
even more interesting, in my opinion. And these are the kind of conversations that we get into this morning. You can see Joe Kamanya is in fine form this morning.
I am indeed.
And looking all fantastic in all shades of brown.
Thank you.
Kabisa. Welcome. Let me tell you something. You guys think when I tell you that EVE is a real human being, you think I'm joking. She's not an apparition.
No.
She's real in the flesh.
Yes.
Today. You see that thing I told you, April showers bring Mayflowers. Her dress is the Mayflowers.
Where?
Yeah. I do pay attention to detail, EVE.
There are many
I do.
first, eh?
Many first.
Many
She
first.
actually does have legs. She's not levitating like she said to me this morning. I don't levitate. Right. So very good morning to you. And Joy B is all shiny. We've seen her this morning getting into things today. And Mutanu is also here today. So I have to, every time I say Mutanu, I have to lower my voice because I've never heard her voice go louder than this. Yeah.
One day, someday.
Something will snap.
Something will give.
Something will give. Wait and see what that is. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the last Monday in March. And it's the last one, but it's not the last of our conversations. And we'll be getting into some of those today. Karibu sana. I hope you did have a good weekend. It was quite something this weekend. But getting into a new week and into a new month soon, we're glad to be here. I'm very grateful for opportunities that we have. And thank you for being part of that experience. This is the Situation Room. Ndu and Joe with you. It's 20 minutes past 6 o'clock and we're getting into it this morning. We'll say hello to you in just a minute because we know that you're already clicking into the room. Our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. And a very good morning to our audience on KTN. As you're getting into the new week, getting into schools are closing this week. Folks continue to work. We're getting into Easter weekend. I hope you're all getting into it properly in different parts of the world where folks are going to bed and you're awake listening to us. Thank you. And we're getting into it, asante sana. If your day is ending, depending on what part of the continent you are on this morning, a special shout out to Steph. And we know she's in Australia. and listening in this morning. Karibuni sana. Thank you for joining us. Let me tell you what we'll be talking about today, because we're going to get into a number of conversations. Many things they are happening, right? We start off with a conversation at 7 a.m. with Professor Peter Kagwanja and Professor Alfred Omenya. They'll both join us today in their capacities as policy expert and governance expert. Surviving the Founder, ODM's test of relevance. This test essentially took place on Friday, and I guess we'll be trying to answer the question of who passed the test. And that's what we'll be talking about today. If anybody passed the test, and of course, going by what we saw in Tononoka yesterday, there's some jitters in some and some establishment of purpose in others. We'll look at that conversation. We'll have it at 7 o'clock. Dear Mr. President, is a conversation that we will have at 8. There is an issue with voter registration. How many do we have so far? Are we making sure that this continuous voter registration goes on for as long a time as it can? People are coming out. People are voting. Whether it's Nikokadi, whatever it is, people are coming out and they're saying, you know what, we want to register to vote. Does IBC have the capacity to do that? Dear Mr. President, you need to make sure that every avenue for people to register to vote is used.
Completely. Completely. We cannot, we must extend that responsibility and execute it properly. It's a civic duty of every Kenyan. And beyond registering, also the chiefs and all other administrative agencies must allow that collection, must make sure that the collection of IDs happens. You have about 2-point-something million national identity cards lying uncollected. And you know what? Those could translate to new legislation.
Exactly.
So that's also another thing we need to do. As you call for the drive of those with the IDs to register, also push and make sure that those who have registered for their new IDs are able to get them in good time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that's how we're talking at 8 o'clock today, because you'll call us and you'll tell us, have you registered? If you've not, do you have a challenge? What is it? Let us know today. We're going to combine all of that and have a conversation with the president this morning at 8 o'clock. That's what we will do. Our final conversation at 9 o'clock today then is one that will be around issues having to do with benchmarking Kenya's competition law against global standards. It's interesting because a number of things come out when we talk about that. We'll let you know, and we'll do that at 9 o'clock today. Sawa. So thank you for joining us in the Situation Room today. Very glad that you had an opportunity to do that. Karibuni sana. And as we get into conversations today, we just want to say that we're very grateful that you are able to always click into the room with us. Our proverbs this week, it will be interesting, I think. As you know, we go around the African continent every week. This week, we land in the Rainbow Nation.
Oh, down south.
Down south, yeah.
Yebo.
And they're quite, it's interesting, these proverbs that come out of South Africa this week. Of course, we know the Rainbow Nation dealt with many years of apartheid, culminating after the 27 years of imprisonment of Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
He came out and then he was the first post-apartheid president, 1990.
Yep.
And sat for one term. 1994, he was done and said, you know what we did?
He sat for?
One term.
One? Okay.
You set me up. I know what you've done. You set me up well, and I kind of like it. Anyway, so let's look into the Proverbs. And of course, we know that still many issues. You see the birth of the real politic in South Africa. I just love to read the history here. The things that were going on in South Africa when there was a struggle for freedom from apartheid, and the things that people who essentially called people like Winnie Mandela a criminal, but some of the things that she was trying to do to ensure that the fight that her husband fought while he was still in prison came out to be. I also read about the different sides of Nelson Mandela, where everybody just looked at him as, freedom fighter, but he was a human being. And then this Thabo Mbeki that we talk about, this other O.R. Tambo and the things that he did, even while Nelson Mandela was in prison. And there's a reason why O.R. Tambo is recognized in South Africa until today, because the man did fight
Yes.
quite a lot.
Indeed.
There were some horror stories, but then the resilience of the people is something that I can never get over. It's so raw in its pure form to ensure that a country stood that came out from a place of real hatred, you know.
And you walk around South Africa and you still see the pains of that struggle.
Yes, you do.
Because structurally or systematically things have not yet changed, in my opinion. They even say that the the Freedom Charter during when Nelson became the president really undercut a lot of the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
And the real South Africans never got what they were fighting for. They never got their economic freedom. They
Very
never
true.
got their land back. You still have them living in squalor. You still have the townships. You have the largest. Do you know the largest slum is in South Africa?
It is.
Kailicha.
Yes.
It's in Cape Town.
It's in Cape Town,
So
actually, yeah.
And I remember walking around there and you're like, it's a deplorable state. So the Rainbow Nation, well, our South African people, as they say, umuntu gumuntu gubuntu, a person is a person through other people. They call for the communal and the societal uprising. And people need to keep on rising up until they get what they deserve.
Absolutely.
I wonder what political party you'd belong to if you were in South Africa.
Me?
Yes.
Huh.
I know I would be an EFF man.
You would?
Yes. Julius
Malema.
Malema
would be
my
saying
party
it would be
leader.
your guy.
So shout out to all my South African brothers and sisters who live there. A story for another day.
Indeed.
It's my second home.
Clearly. I love it, though. There's a spirit in South Africa that always take me back, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Our proverb for today: the wind does not break a tree that can bend. The wind does not break a tree that can bend.
Ooh. Talk about being flexible. Adapting and resilience as well.
Absolutely.
That tides will rise and fall.
Yeah.
Journey will be smooth and rough at times. But if you're able to adapt as the tree, as when the wind blows, as life throws challenges to you, you will survive. You will survive. So do not be rigid or vindictive, as we say. You'll survive.
I guess true. Also for the person who may be coming at you, who may want to break you, and you say, well, I'm sorry, but I'm supple in places that you haven't even begun to understand.
Right.
So there's very little that you can do to me to break me. You put me in a difficult situation. I'm ready, willing to adapt to that. So chances of you breaking me then reduce significantly. Gives us a lesson for all of us, I think, to then be able to be adaptable so that you will be unbreakable.
Indeed.
How about that for Monday morning? Okay, Karibu, everybody. As we get into that today, that proverb, there's something for us to learn. Let's say a quick hello to everybody who's tuned into the Situation Room this Monday morning. Like I said, such a pleasure to have everybody here today. And so our audience is on Facebook. We see you tuning in. And those who click in on X, Karibu Sana, as you join into this conversation with us. Let's take a moment to say a quick hello to you, and we thank you for taking the time to then share. And everybody, as we keep saying, is welcome. Karibu Sana. A very good morning to you, Peter Kiadio. You're tuning from Mombasa today, and you say that so many people online today, you don't need to keep questioning everything. Just start doing something. Clarity is built through action and not endless thinking. Yeah, don't think too much about it sometimes. You have to move a brick, right?
Just do it.
Got to do it. Nike was onto something, that's for sure. Robert Obogo tuning from Mombasa as well. A very good morning, Spice family. Tuned in from Cairo. Okay. Gua Cairo is where now? Help me.
What? That could be somewhere in Roiro.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Gua Cairo.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so there's a place called like that.
Okay, fantastic.
Or Juja somewhere.
Up there?
Yeah.
Okay. A very good morning to you. Hisa Daniel tuned in this morning. Slum to Ogmasai says, good morning, tuning from Berlin. Good morning to you. Hope you're well. Karibu Sana. Prince Alvin says, good morning, Spice family. Well articulated points from Kalonzo yesterday. Okay. Let's see Funa start Linda Mwananchi party and we will definitely join. Okay. There seems to be clamor for him to start a party. Okay. Interesting. Liumi says, good morning. Bonjour. India only has a week's supply of oil and reserves. Kenya has how much again? Well, it's interesting because I think on Friday, a ship docked with oil products, yes, into Kenya. So I don't know how long that's going to last, but it's a bit of relief because there was something that came in. So like I said, a ship docked with product, right? So it's not just fuel, other things, gas and things like this. So of course the question was, what happens next? Joseph Mukua says, good morning, tune in to the Situation Room, tuning from Baragoi, Samburu County. Jimmy Manode is tuning in this morning. Have a great week ahead. Happy Easter coming soon. Exactly, Kabisa. To you too as well. Desmond Ortiz says, good morning. You may miss Kenyan politics. I'll be back soon from South Africa. Oh, you are in South Africa, interestingly enough, Desmond. That's where our province is coming from this week. Acheng says, I was having palpitations that I wouldn't be able to get my daily morning dose. It's lovely to see you. Be at rest, my sister. It's all right. Isakale, is it true that CK wants its coins? Tell them to check their own tab first. That there's a waiter demanding payment while chewing steak in the kitchen. I know. Isn't it interesting? Linda Gola, bonjour à tous, bonjour à toi. Hope you're doing well. A very good morning to you. Karibu sana. Nema, in all its wisdom, decided a concrete jungle is better than an animal orphanage whose interests are swaying to, just like the 3 acres of mature trees we cut to make way for tree seedlings. This is Leo. Good morning. Took a drive just past Karova. I couldn't believe it because I take a lot of pictures. Took after my father, I think, of like area. Right. And I had taken a picture a couple of years ago of Karura. Now, when you're coming in from Limuru Road, heading back into the city, I can't believe the number of trees that have been felled for development. It's unbelievable. It's a concrete jungle.
And you know what? That is just the tip of the iceberg. You drive into Karura or walk around, you'll be shocked the tree felling that has happened. They keep talking about wanting to put up a nursery. You know,
you cut down trees to put trees.
There's an existing nursery that has been there for many years. I don't know why they're not utilizing that. But I would also want to have you know that what the person is talking about, the concrete jungle, there is also an effort to move the Nairobi Animal Orphanage to somewhere near Bomas, and then do a 1,300 car parking lot.
For what?
Maybe for the zebras, I don't know.
I can't do this in the morning.
We keep talking about climate action. Deforestation for...
Nairobi was host.
Yes.
To the 2020, was it 2023? Yes, it was. 2023 Climate Forum.
Yes.
Nairobi was host to that. What do we do? I woke up with joy in my heart today. Give me
I
want
to keep you happy, but unfortunately, other people have other plans. But we have to rise up. You know, these are things we must say no.
No, you have to talk about them for sure.
Friends of National Park, friends of Karura Forest. Please, we are with you.
Absolutely.
And let's all come out and save our forest. You see, even this torrential rains we're having, they have everything to do with every tree we plant or cut.
Or cut down.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yikes. But that was really scary for me to see yesterday.
It's sad.
Very sad. Saraya Brown says, good morning, tuned in from Enfield in London. My best program on planet Earth, Kabisa, every morning, Monday to Friday. Have a great and blessed week. Love you all. Love you too, Saraya. It's love coming in from Nairobi all the way to London. Karibu sana. Bwangi Juma says, good morning. How are you all this blessed Monday? It's a day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice. Kabisa. We're trying. We're keeping it there. Carol Nyambura says, good morning. Anatupenda sana sana. Tunakupenda pia, my sister. Good morning to you, Nyakundi Emmanuel. Is our president the judge? Because he's everywhere talking of Gachagua taking his brother's property. Can he start working on things effectively? I thought it was interesting that the family had nothing to say until after the president then said something and they said, excuse me, Will has a problem. I'm just saying. D Combo says, good morning. 15 to 20 minutes. We are here. Don't worry. Sorry. You're draining the brain. Your brain shall not be drained in Jesus' name. I'm looking forward to today's conversations. Good morning, Luhimbo. Hope you're doing well. I've been missing in action for a while. Yes, Luhimbo. Where have you been? I hope you're all right. Simon Weho says, good morning. Locked and ready to listen to Kenya's greatest and biggest conversation. The only way to kickstart your day. Karibu sana. Ryan is tuned in this morning. Good morning. Who else from the diaspora is having trouble with joining the count kwa Linda Wananchi site because of the phone number? Please ask them to fix this. I will send a message to Senator Edwin Sifuna this morning and tell him that you're having a bit of a challenge. All right. What's your favorite novel? I don't know. My goodness. So many. There's so many. I don't even know where to start from. But I'll think about that and come back to you. So a very good morning to you, Rahim Tula. Good morning to Flani. Hope you're doing well. Christina says good morning. She's tuned in this morning as well. Fiery Red is asking, how are you both this morning? I have an ask. How come Maraga doesn't get the spotlight during the country while all he tends to be... while all that he tends to be aired is president and co-insulting each other. Well, this is the thing about media, that a lot of times it's the raunchy stuff that seems to make it first, isn't it? That's just the way it is. I don't know. It's a tough question to answer, even for those of us who are in the practice. But perhaps he needs to bite the dog. Then this is a font that we use. That what makes news most of the times is when a dog bites a man, who cares? But when a man bites a dog, that's news. So maybe Maraga needs to bite the dog. I'm just going to say it like that. Maybe he needs to bite the dog because it's clear that he's there, but is he there? He needs to bite the dog.
Yeah, and also time will tell,
Yeah.
Time will tell.
And it's still slim pickings, I think.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see.
There is a natural filtration process that is going to happen politically.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I like that. I should write it down. A natural filtration process that is going to happen politically.
Yes.
Wow, my goodness, you're spilling it this morning, aren't you? Okay. Evie, somebody's asking if you had your coffee. She's not had her coffee. We need to do something about that. Good morning, guys. Where is Dennis? He's coming. Don't worry. He'll be back. He's on leave. Ndu and Joe, very good morning. God be with us this Holy Week. Amen. Michael, good morning to you. Young Jedi, good morning. Sabal Harry, Ndu and Team Spice, good morning, Rogers. Good to have you here. Musema kweli umeamka na nguvu leo asubuhi. Good morning. Kiaria Peter says, today is my daughter's 9th birthday. It's Chelsea's birthday. We'll do that in a minute. Robert Miner, good morning. Love all the way from Doha. Are you guys okay? Confirm that you guys are fine, because we've seen that there's a lot more action in that neck of the woods over the weekend. My prince, good morning to you. We see that you're already getting into it. Hamjambo lakini tuko salama kabisa. You're in London, not Preston. Okay, Rahim Tula, good morning to you. Agutu is tuned in already. Josh is also tuned in from Dubai. Patrick says good morning from Kigali. And Dolly is tuned in this morning, Team Spice. Ambassador Beja is here. Hello, guys, says Apumba, good morning to you. And Jackie Onyango says, tune in from Kiambu. Kisumu, not Kiambu. Simanga says, good morning from the South African community, or rather to the South African community.
How is it?
Raphael says, good morning, folks. And Hela Pondi says, habari yenu, tuko salama kabisa. And a very happy birthday to you, Chelsea. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chelsea. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Chelsea. You're 9. Well done. And may the years ahead of you be very bright. And may God bless you. Happy birthday. Good morning, everybody. So that's it. We say good morning to you. We take time to do that. It's important that we do. And we know that the time gets clicking, but it's great that we can have that moment where we just get into it. And you represent everybody else who tunes into the show. And so we say a special Monday morning to you as we get into things this morning. Let's take a quick break. We'll do that. Take a look at what this in store in the skies and what it looks like on the streets. We'll get back into the headlines right after this. Don't go away.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Want to, I'm telling you. But protecting their own is what is in the subs this morning. Judicial officers have repeatedly obtained court orders that pause investigations and other proceedings. While no case has yet reached a final determination, the pattern shows how legal processes and conservatory orders interact with anti-corruption and oversight efforts. For regular Kenyans, the unfolding developments highlight the challenge of balancing judicial independence with timely accountability and the complexities that arise when courts and investigations intersect. That they should intersect in the first place is the question here, and that is there judicial bias? If there is, has it been recognized, and what is actually being done about it? We'll look into the details of why this is a story this morning, because when you look into some of the other pages, it's being called the legal shield. Judicial officers turn to the courts to limit scrutiny. Like, when it comes to us, perhaps we don't need you asking questions.
Yep.
Let's be the ones who are the judge and jury in this case, as it were. So we'll look into that. Tobacco firms shift to social media to hook youth on nicotine products. This is interesting because the requirement or the standardization is for display. It's display on the packets, it's display on advertising and such like. But is there regulation for social media? Because it seems that's where they're going at the moment. And I can't tell you. I had it's part of a forum whereby doctors actually tell us, like, they have nothing to gain from this. The damage that is done to the respiratory system.
Right.
As a result of smoking. And now we're not talking about just smoking cigarettes. We're talking about smoking because there's the combustion element that takes place. That's the danger, the combustion. Not this. And so that is what does the burn. And whether there are carcinogenic effects as a result of that, usually that you can find a link.
Yeah.
But they tell us some of the horrors that they see when they have to essentially tell somebody that there's nothing we can do for you anymore. If you're not able to stop this thing, and they say, and so we ask, what's the cure? And they say the cure is to never light up in the beginning. Because the addictive nature of it puts you in a bit of a situation. And they kept insisting to put the packaging, to have the danger signs on the packaging. And it became, of course, it became injurious to organizations. So now they've shifted to social media. What's the regulation there? That's the question.
It's a challenge because tobacco is one of the most addictive substances.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it is not as aggressive as, the alcoholic addiction and other drugs.
Yeah.
So it take you longer before your lungs are smoked out.
Yes.
Before the doctors can say there's nothing we can do for you. But unfortunately, it is advertised with a lot of glamour and class and style. So they lure you in. Now you see they keep on evolving the dispensation of the same. Now there's a vaping.
And it's cherry flavored and whatever.
Flavors and all that. But honestly, as you say, I think the secret, don't light up. Don't light up. There's no upside to smoking.
There you go. There's no upside. There really isn't. Old Kalau MP Kiaraho dies at 63, honoured for service and dedication. May his soul rest in peace. It was terrible to see that. And looking at the next pages with death toll in Yeri Road crash rises to 16 as families mourn loved ones. The numbers are still increasing.
Yeah.
The deaths by road accident last year was crazy. And this year we're already at quite high numbers and we're just finishing the first quarter of the year.
It's sad.
It is. That story of the legal shield is on page 4 of the Standard. Judicial officers turn to the courts to limit scrutiny. It's interesting that they turn to the court to say, don't look at us, please. Let's look at others. ODM's Linda Mwananchi storms Mombasa, vows 2027 Ruto defeat. The numbers in Tononoka yesterday were crazy. And what are people pushing for? People are pushing for a change. And that people are resonating with this. It's not a matter of whose side are you on. If you see that people are resonating with the desire for things to change, that should have you worried.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about pick me, pick me. People are talking about the fact that Kenyans are saying, guys, we need a change. If that's what you're looking at, then perhaps those are the things that you need to go back into the mechanic's box and say, yikes, do I need to take a sledgehammer to this thing? Or do I need to use a screwdriver to turn something in a different direction? Something has got to give.
Yep.
And if this wave of people registering to vote, of looking at the alternative and saying, hang on a minute, should we be more concerned about the money that we owe that we never used? Should we be concerned about debt? Those are the issues.
Yep.
People are shifting. Nobody cares whether it's Joe or Ndu. Nobody cares whether you're in that. People care that the person who is there is not going to take this country any deeper into the abyss. That's what I'm hearing. Unless I'm hearing something else, perhaps I need to clean out my ears.
Spot on. And at the bottom there is an environmental issue.
Yeah.
Below that, ODM Linda Mwananchi, where they want to relocate a national animal orphanage. People are saying, no, we don't need more concrete jungles. Please just leave the national park alone.
Just leave it alone.
Leave
Do
the
something
orphanage
else.
alone.
Yeah, go touch something else.
Forest alone.
Come on.
You've done enough damage.
Yeah.
And you cannot do everything at once. Just to finish what you can for now.
Yeah.
Let the next regime come in and do other things.
If you can't be satisfied with many things, at least be satisfied with the damage that you've already done.
Yes.
And let that be.
Well put.
I saw a very horrifying video of a woman who, when I watched the video, I thought she'd run mad. And I think in that moment she had. Because she came to the realization that her son died while in school. Learner deaths raise fears over safety in schools. This is what we saw over the weekend. Unfortunately, you imagine that your child is in school studying and that they are safe. And then you get the phone call. And then you come and you hear a story. Now, 2 things have happened. Your child is dead.
Right.
Number 2, the circumstances under which your child died then are unclear. They were not sick. Somebody did something.
Yeah.
And then that's enough to make you go insane. not even just temporarily. And so I'm starting to wonder, does my child need to then live in school? I mean, it gripped me with another fear. I was like, oh my God, what are we doing? But that's a story. It's in the Standard today. And I think it's interesting that the opinion pages today are talking about Kenya's industrial future, and it needs to go beyond the fear of nuclear energy. And that's in the op-eds in the Standard today. Grab a copy of the Standard. You can get a copy of the Standard e-paper if you just log on. And you have all the news and information at your fingertips. Over to you, sir.
Danke. The Daily Nation talks about the Linda Mwananchi storm coast. I mean, how they stormed the coast. They were there over the weekend. And then also about the death of the All-Kalau MP's death.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be another by-election, definitely. But our sincere condolences to the constituent. May his soul rest in peace. Well, a dark image. Mother, daughter amongst 16 killed in Nyeri.
Yeah.
Crash. There was a road accident. Unfortunately, the numbers keeps rising.
Yeah.
But that is very sad. Again, governors living large. Devolved feast. To his governors, 2.4 billion office budget is 3 times allocation for agriculture. If it were any other place in the country, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Kitui or for the other places, they need to do more in agriculture than any other county. But what have they done? They have allocated 2.4 billion shillings for the office budget of the governor.
You know,
which is 3 times the budget for
agriculture.
Yes.
Which you should actually be focusing on. And you should be, obviously, you know that irrigation is something that needs to happen in this place. It's interesting that just on the last, what was that holiday, Madarak?
Labor Day.
Before that, anyway, the last national holiday that took place in Eastern Kitui, which one was that? I can't remember.
Jamhuri.
It's either Jamhuri or Madaraka, one of the two.
Mm.
But the president actually said that there would be water flowing. Let me tell you something. I took no issue with the president on that day. Because he came and he said, you guys have had leaders here for the last, I don't know how many donkey years. And nothing has been happening in terms of water. I agreed. I agreed with him there because I was like, you know what, I'm sorry. But you cannot have perennial problems in the face of development in the name of devolution. That what has been going on. Then now you see now this thing that you're telling us. Then you go and spend 2.4, or you want to spend 2.4 billion shillings to build somebody's house. And that's 3 times the agriculture budget. Even if sometimes we want to say the devil is black, there are some things that the devil didn't do. You want to blame the president for everything. In this case, now the people who have had MPs, you have a governor, you've had God in heaven. Then now look at what you're doing.
Marsabit.
If you see now, I told you
600 million.
Sorry.
But collectively, just to perhaps soften the blow, 12 county chiefs spent over 8 billion.
I like what you've done.
On their offices, nearly 60% of the total allocated to governors' offices across 43 counties, with financial records showing how some of them prioritize luxury over development projects for over development projects for the residents. In several counties, allocation to these offices surpass funds set aside for education, for roads, for water, for energy and agriculture. The story continues on page 4, 5, and 6. The perennial problem we've had is not the rain, it's not the drought, it is poor leadership.
Come on. Thieves.
You hire people, incompetent people, to do jobs that they're not capable of. Because we are hiring in 2027, my good friends, hire correctly.
Hey, God in heaven.
Page 2, devastation for families as victims of Nyeri horror crash are identified. That's very sad. Also at the bottom there you have the past of the young Faiz drowning in school. This is a young boy you're talking about. And there's the uncle to the boy. He's a TikToker. He's a social person. The guy called Dirango. And you could see the emotions there. The sister to the guy is the mother to the late child. But there is a growing concern about the safety of our children in school. Not so long ago, we had a fire incident, remember? I think it was somewhere in Gilgil. And many other places things have been happening. Parents are called to be told their child is unwell. Either they've fallen into a swimming pool or off some, playing area or from a beating. But we really need to revise the safety of our education spaces, of our learning spaces.
But I'm sorry also, Joe, but I think we have some teachers in school or some caregivers who are violent.
Yeah.
And I think that too often there are things that are happening. I mean, I was told a story reliably. A journalist will never reveal their source. It's one of the things we were taught. But I was told reliably about a girl who last week, for carrying food into the bus from an outing, and she was beaten so much that her friends could not touch her back. Do you understand? Now, what if one of those blows had landed in the wrong place? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there's an element of that where this punishment that we're talking about, which, by the way, is banned in Kenya, still continues. There's a problem here. Just 2 weeks ago, we had a conversation here in this room about children who were beaten mercilessly. What are you doing beating a child because one hand is in a cast? And that's their forward-leaning hand.
Yeah.
And you're beating this child because they cannot read. I mean, they cannot write properly. And you are forcing... Do you understand?
Yeah. Our education system is in a crisis. That's the position I continue to hold. Because it's not just about having a teacher in class.
No.
Not just about giving books and capitation. Because we keep talking about resources. We don't talk about the environment, our learning environment. We don't talk about the conditions of both the teacher, the child, and also the communities where these schools are. Because you'll find, as you say, retooling was done.
Yeah.
But really, how far do we go about assessing even the mental status of our teachers? The same we talk about the police. The same applies for teachers because they are human.
They are human beings.
They are prone to other conditions as well. Remember also, they're coming from an economic crisis, from their own
crises.
Their own crisis.
Yeah.
So how are they able to do, to mitigate against transference? Their emotions don't play out as
on these children,
on these kids. So there are many dynamics, It's a multi-dimensional conversation to have. The teachers need to be taken care of. They need to take care of themselves. The kids also need to learn how to operate within a constrained system where there are rules and guidance and all that. And then also us as parents, we have a role to play. Because learning, education is a collective responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But my sincere condolences to Dirango and family and everybody else who has lost a child. There are no correct words.
No, they're not enough words either.
The stories continue. A lot of audited reports in the dailies. We have the Consolidated Bank, the Family Bank, ICEA, and the rest, and many more stories. Top on the Business Daily. Top Kenyan bank investors reap 5.75 billion dividends. You know who is flourishing in this regime?
Banks.
The commercial banks.
The commercial banks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because of the illegal domestic borrowing. But do I say? Much more to be found in the Business Daily.
Yep, there's a lot.
And the Star.
The top of the Star tells us, just really quickly, as we're running out of time, fertile land, rising imports, paradox of Kenya's costly food, and that why should food be so expensive in Kenya? While you do have fertile land and what's being used. I mean, just look at countries that have benchmarked here, the UAE, Israel, Australia. Those three countries, by the way, are desert. Very little grows in the UAE, by the way, because it's a lot of it was built out of nothing. But they've come to benchmark here, and that actually is interesting because I see Israeli apples on sale here in Kenya.
Yes.
They've come and they've taken soil samples. They've gone back to Israel. They've replicated that. They've grown apples and they export them to you. How about that?
Beyond soil samples, they carried trucks of red soil from Kenya to Israel. And then they come and sell you the food that they grew on that
that's
soil.
That's what we're talking about.
Soil.
They grew it on your soil. So that's the paradox that the Star is alluding to this morning. Paradox of Kenya's costly food. What we're saying is that food in Kenya ought not to be so expensive, actually. It shouldn't. That you have the ingredients here to actually make it happen. Who's going to bell the cat, folks, to make sure that some of these things are actually done? And I'm sorry, but Kenya has some of the brightest minds on the planet.
Indeed.
You have organizations like Calro,
yes,
who are doing some fantastic stuff. How about that's taken and actually the money that's needed put behind it and make sure that you actually yield literally from it? Those are the questions, and we'll ask them right here in the Situation Room. Good morning. It's 7 a.m.
up your... This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.